Hello. So let me preface this before starting that I was supposed to bring my equipment to Czech Republic and I didn't. I thought, maybe I should spend less time on my phone and spend more time in nature. The scenes that I have seen, I deeply regret making that decision. I wish I had brought my microphone and my stand with me to record some videos because I probably could have recorded 2 or 3. And the scenery was beautiful. I went to many places. So I regret that. Anyway, let's begin. So, Tim's inner monologues, number 31, porn addiction, and how to beat it. Now, we might be joined by my cat, that's right here. Huh? You want to join me in this video? Let's see if we can pick her up. Here she is. Okay, you can stay there. We're currently joined by our fishes in the pond because I think it's a nice view. My body aches from training, so I can't bother to walk anywhere. So I'll have to do this in the confinement room in my own home. Anyway, Tim's inner monologues, number 31, porn addiction, struggles of pornography, and how to beat it. Now, let me start by saying that I do not condone, I do not condemn anyone in the industry. We are all sinners, and we all have our own struggles. And it's not to say that I'm more righteous than somebody else because I don't divulge into it, or no longer do. Nor am I going to sit there and say that I'm better than you because I don't partake in the industry, whereas, for example, you're a model. So that's super important. Now, the whole industry as a whole, I'm not going to go into the reason why it started, nor will I go into the reason of how it's become. Actually, no, I will go into the reason why it's become so big today. But I won't go into the reason how it started because I'll probably get banned off YouTube. There's a certain individual group that created it, and it's terrible. Anyway, the first thing I have to say is pornography is not real. It is not real. It is not what sexual relations between a man and a woman, between marriage is. It is not in any way, shape, or form realistic. And it is the biggest thing that's destroying relationships. It is the biggest thing that is destroying marriages and everything else. And I'll go into that. So, there are people behind me. My neighbors behind me. But it's fine. So, pornography as a whole is a terrible thing. It is widespread in today's world through social media of soft pornography, mainly on Instagram and TikTok, try and lure young men into purchasing OnlyFans, private subscriptions, private Snapchats, and then obviously lead them into porn. And it is one of the biggest struggles with men today. Now, pornography is exceptionally dangerous for many reasons. Firstly, it's a false premise of what sex is really like. It is not the same. It is not what sex is. Nothing is perfect. And you sort of taking this realism from pornography is very much damaging. Not only that, I would say it's damaging for the soul. It's damaging for the heart. We are not supposed to be watching other people have sex. It's not a natural thing to do. It's not a natural thing to sit there and say that we should be watching. I mean, like, in one way, we have seen more naked bodies in 5 minutes of the internet than our ancestors have ever seen in their lives. And there was a funny quote saying, life was better when it was harder to see female private parts. And that is true. One Google search, you can find everything you need. So, porn itself is very much damaging. Not only does it build a false sense of what sex is, it ruins relationships by promising that sex is supposed to be like pornography. I mean, it destroys marriages. And I remember when I was younger, I never understood the premise that women would think it's like cheating. But I now begin to understand. You are watching another couple or another woman or another man or whatever have sexual relations and you find pleasure from it rather than from your husband or wife. It is a terrible thing. It is damaging for the world. It builds this sort of idea that women are only Women and men are only there for procreational use. You disregard the person's personality completely, and it builds this sense of hookup culture, which is exceptionally damaging for the soul. It's sort of a transactional value where you will come together, you will have this exceptionally intimate thing, and then you will then act as if nothing had happened, and you will continue to do so with the goal of sleeping with as many women as you possibly can until you finally think, okay, now it's time to settle down. It's a very damaging thing. I must say this. You have a connection to every person you sleep with, and it hurts the soul. It hurts the heart and hurts the soul. Not only that, but watching pornography, you might go, oh, well, the word porn isn't in the Bible, or masturbation isn't in the Bible, so why is it forbidden? Well, Christ clearly calls us, I believe it's in Mark, saying that whoever looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery in their heart. And this is the same for both women and for men. It is a damaging thing that strays us away from God. Every time we sin, we reject Christ, we reject God, and we say that we don't want God's love and mercy, and that we don't accept it. And by watching pornography, Satan has a grip on us that strains us away from Christ. It's one of the biggest things, arguably the biggest thing that men are struggling with. Now, pornography has its very much big consequences. You have dopamine. Dopamine is one of the worst. A dopamine addiction is one of the worst things that can happen. It's one of the highest causes of depression. The truth is, like drugs, you start off small and you get worse and worse and worse because your brain blocks a certain dopamine level, and you get worse and worse and worse. That's why there are some heinous categories out there, and it's because the mind over the years continuously watches and watches and watches and watches and watches, and the dopamine levels get worse and worse and worse and worse. And you obviously need something more graphic, something more violent, something worse to stimulate it. That's why a lot of people will go, for example, towards children, which is a terrible, terrible thing, because they require something more than what is out there. Now, the thing is, I could go on and on and on and on about how it's terrible, and I most likely will in a separate video. But in this video, it's about how to beat it, how to, I guess, overcome this addiction that so many men are struggling with today. And I obviously extend this out to women as well. Women obviously can and will struggle from this, and they are the ones that are in the industry more or less. But it is men who struggle the most with this. So please be aware that I target both people. Now, for women that are in the industry, it is not a good thing. Many porn stars, both men and women, resort to drugs and resort to suicide. I mean, there was one porn star who, I'm not even going to call them stars because they're not stars, one actress who tried to commit suicide by fentanyl overdose. Now, a few others tried killing themselves with guns and drugs. It's a very terrible industry. Oh, there goes my phone. It's a very terrible industry that harms the soul and harms the heart. I'm going to have to mute that because that's going to be pinging off every 5 seconds. Sorry, guys. Give me a split second. I really hope this doesn't stop the recording. Okay. It hasn't stopped the recording. That's fantastic. So, the thing is this. Pornography, as a whole, destroys us. And for women, women will say, well, it's the only thing that I have because my body is there. You know, I look very much attractive. Maybe I can do certain things. All I have in my life is my body. The truth is, after 10 years or so, you're no longer interesting to the majority of people. You will come and go, you will never be remembered, and your image is always there. Women always think that, oh, I'll start some sort of account, I'll make my money, and then I'll disappear without a trace. You must understand your image is there forever. And the worst thing is for your own children to find out that you are doing such acts, that you were partaking online, and that's their life forever. If you want your child to get bullied, start some sort of account, become popular-ish, and then let all the kids find out at your son's or daughter's school that you were the one that did it. Heinous things. So you must understand, as women and men that are looking to potentially go into the industry, there is more to you than just your body. There is more to you than just sort of sex, and it is a sacred thing. Sexual relations is a sacred and beautiful thing that should be done between husband and wife. No one else. No boyfriend, girlfriend. No hookup cultures. Nothing. It should be done between husband and wife, and it's a beautiful thing. But portraying it onto the internet is a disgusting thing. So that's what I want to say for women. If you're thinking about doing it, you should leave, and if you are currently doing it, you should leave as well. Better to leave late than to have never left at all. I apologise for the noise behind me. Hopefully you guys can't hear it, but I can. So, anyway, how to beat it. The first thing I must say is we cannot fight it. Christ himself calls us to flee from temptation, to flee from lustful thoughts. We cannot fight something that is inherently there, because as men, we have this urge to procreate. This is obvious, right? Why you look at every single animal that's ever existed, their goal is to create a lineage and then pass on. In the same way, biologically, our goal is to come onto the planet, to find a partner for life, to marry, to have kids with, and then to pass away and provide future generations. Of course, without generations, it won't exist. Life will not exist. Your heritage, your lineage, I exist today because my great grandparents decided to have children. And in the same way, you exist today because of that exact same reason. So of course, for men and women, it is a natural thing to want the other person. Now, the question lies, how to beat it? How to do this? We must flee from it. That's first. You must look at yourself and think, why do you do it? Is it because you're bored? Is it because you're lonely? Is it that maybe you are with a significant other and maybe you think of them whilst you do it? So you might go, oh, well, I think of someone else. I think of my boyfriend or girlfriend, and it helps me with my urges so that we don't procreate before marriage, for example. It's still a terrible thing to do, because you look at a person with lust and you disregard their soul, you disregard who they really are, and you think of them as like some sort of vending machine. When you go to the vending machine, you put money in, you grab the item, maybe a drink, maybe some fruit, or maybe some like fruit sweets or some crisps or something, and you don't care about the vending machine. You don't care about who put it there, the time that it took to make the vending machine. You don't care what the vending machine maybe has seen. I know, terrible analogy. You only care about the product and the fact that you're spending money to get a product. In the same way, if you look at a woman or a man lustfully, you only care about the product, about the money, about the end goal, which is the food or the drink that you may have. And it's the same thing when you look at a woman lustfully or you hook up. The goal is to have that feeling of relief, and then you no longer care about what happens afterwards. So that's super important. Now, how do we defeat it? It's very easy. First, you must understand why you do it. And then you must understand what is causing you to do it. Is it that maybe your Instagram or social media is filled with women who dress immodestly? Is it that maybe your life is surrounded by modest women and your eyes are constantly looking at women that you shouldn't be? Is it that maybe you read certain things that you shouldn't? Is it that maybe you watch movies, or that you're addicted to it, or maybe you have videos on your phone, or maybe that even yourself you partake in it, or you know people that partake in it? The harsh reality with addiction, with pornography addiction, is you have to go cold turkey from the get-go. You can't limit yourself to go, okay, well, I watched it every single day for a week, so next week I'm going to watch it 5 times in that week, and then 3, then what? It doesn't work like that. Because you'll always have that urge and that excitement to just break it. You must go cold turkey from the get-go. You must say, no, I will not watch it. And no matter how difficult it is, I will not do it. And of course, the first 30 days are hard. I'm not going to sit there and lie. When I haven't, self-pleasured in over 2.5 years. And of course, it's been difficult. Of course, there have been times where I've wanted to do it and haven't. And of course, when I first started, it was exceptionally difficult. I struggled many times. I kept on going back to it. So you must understand where it's coming from, and you have to remove the distractions. If it's Instagram, stop watching Instagram. Stop watching TikTok. That's the biggest thing. It's all soft pornography to lead you towards temptation. If you maybe are having in a relationship where you're hooking up with the other person constantly, get rid of the relationship, or tell the person that you are hooking up with that maybe you want something more and you want to wait until marriage. It's a noble thing to do. Waiting for marriage. It's a noble thing. So that's most important. My other sort of thing that I would like to say for many is you must build your relationship stronger with God. The truth is, every time you watch it, you stray yourself and you say no to God and no to God's love, and you take for granted that Christ died for us on our cross. So I have a cross here. This is very, very important. You must build a stronger relationship with God, and as you overcome this addiction of yours, you end up building a stronger relationship with God, huh? Ow, don't bite me. Don't try to bite me. Evil cat. Ow. She's come to join me and says she decides to attack me. Anyway, you must spend more time in prayer. I would like to say that every time you get such thoughts, you could pray. I was offered by a priest to say a Hail Mary every time I thought of something immodest or every time I thought about something bad in that matter. And in the same way, you must relieve yourself of any sort of distractions. Understand that it is a destructive thing and it is everywhere. The truth is our society is a lustful society, is an immodest society, and it's impossible to escape. Advertisement, cartoons, phones, TVs, images, even if you were to get rid of technology completely, you would still be surrounded with people that dress immodestly, where women may show cleavage or men may show arms or muscle or whatnot. And it's still very difficult. But you must strive your very, very best to get rid of such an addiction. For example, if your addiction is to look at women that dress immodestly, Saint Gabriel, for example, the monk who was notorious or who was famous for never looking up, and he would only look down, and when he would look at the altar, he would only look up, so he would look up his eyes to heaven. And that was actually a miracle of a lot of eye problems. If you're having eye problems, pray to him. And he was notorious because he would look down on the ground always, and he would only look at his eyes towards the altar, towards heaven. And in the same way, if you see women who dress immodestly, look away, look down. Fine, you might seem a little bit less confident. Who cares? Your soul is more important than what your eyes see. So that's again very important. But you must go cold turkey. You must remove all distractions above you. And the question is this: a lot of times, men will go, "Oh, I feel lonely at night, and I am bored. So I do it to pass time, and it helps me fall asleep." Firstly, it doesn't help you fall asleep. That's a complete con out. Secondly, if you're bored, then go to sleep. You don't have time. Oh, I'm bored. Go to sleep. I'm bored at night. Go to sleep. I can't fall asleep. Pray. Read the Bible. Pray. Do something else. If you struggle at night for it, go do something else. Oh, I feel lonely, so I watch it, so it helps me. Okay, but boohoo, you're lonely. Everyone's lonely. You're not immediately born out of the womb and you're given a wife forever. You must understand that your temporary emotions and how you feel inside does not matter in the shortcomings of it. Many times you see people, they regret what they did when they get arrested, or they regret what they did when they get in trouble. And it's because in the short term, their temporal pleasure is like, you should do this, you should go steal, you should go attack someone. And then when they get caught, they have this sudden realization that what they did is bad. Many men talk about this. They call it the post-nut clarity, that they realize that what they've done is inherently wrong and they feel shameful. It's a terrible sense of shame that what you are doing is inherently wrong. You must understand that it is a terrible thing to do and it shouldn't be done whatsoever. And every time you continuously... Hello, so unfortunately, you might be wondering why I'm back here again. My phone ran out of storage. I thought I had enough. I was almost done with the video, and unfortunately the storage said no. So we're gonna have to finish the rest of the video, and we're gonna connect these two. Anyway, so I do apologise for that. I was actually thoroughly enjoying continuing with my rant, but anyway, I'll remember that for next time. So, like I was saying, we must the act of continuously watching it is inherently bad for our soul. It's inherently wrong. And again, I apologize if I'm repeating a lot of things. But yes, when it comes to quitting it, you must just go complete cold turkey. There is no other way of doing it. You can't lie to yourself and say, "Oh, I'll only do it a couple times this week," because you're still. It would be like feeding yourself poison and then expecting the other person to die from it. There is no reason for it. And my question is always this: if you are inherently sinning, and you know you are sinning, and you know that you are in mortal sin, if you were to die tomorrow, and God was to look at you and say, "Why?" what excuse could you have said? Of course, God is of compassion and mercy. I'm sure He would have mercy on us all. But the question still lies. Are you willing to give up your eternal salvation just to have pleasure of a couple minutes? This is important. So, another question that I might get, well, what about pornography within marriage? Because you're completely comfortable with one another, you are allowed to have sexual relations, but yet pornography is still in marriages. Why? Why is that? Now, arguably, I would say that pornography is cheating, because you look at another person lustfully that isn't your wife or your husband. Again, you shouldn't be looking at them lustfully, but hey ho. But in a sense of this, it is inherently wrong to do so. Maybe your wife isn't giving you sexual pleasure. Maybe your husband isn't giving you sexual pleasure, or whatever it may be. But instead of communicating and acting like adults, you act like children, and then you divulge into childish things. Instead of communicating and sitting there and saying, what I feel unsatisfied in this marriage sexually, I need to for things to change. If you guys are unable to come together towards a common agreement that both will try to satisfy each other as much as possible, then what's the point? And then you act childishly and you wonder why your husband's ran off to pornography because it's the only way that he can relieve himself. Again, in the same way, I blame the husband because he can't communicate properly with his wife, or he can't be a man of actual prudence and actually hold his struggles and hold his temptations. If you continuously watch pornography, if you continuously fall into this temporary sort of emotion where you have to do things like this and you can't stop, then why would you expect? You are a weak man. You are a very, very weak man if you can't hold yourself to keep strength of your pleasures. And same with women as well. Men will go around flexing how they've slept with a lot of women, but it only shows the lack of self-control that you have. Toddlers are a perfect example of this. Toddlers want everything now because they cannot comprehend that their actions can affect others. For example, in the Catholic Church, we don't expect people to go to confession until they're about 9 or 10 years old. Because when you're a child, you don't remember much. I don't remember my first couple years as a child. Why would I? When I was 2 years old, I didn't know that if I smacked my mom or something, for example, it would hurt her because I thought it'd be funny for myself. In the same way, if you give toddlers everything immediately, it breeds this bad habit that they expect everything to get instantly in life, and they become entitled and rude. Why do so many people expect things to get to get everything right now? It's because we've bred this societal outlook through pornography, through sexual relations, through hookup culture, through all of this, to sit there and say that if you need to relieve yourself, you can just do it instantly. Why? And this is probably a terrible thing to say. Why do you think rape is up so much? Why do you think in these societies, these third world people that will come into our country and they begin to rape? Why is it that rape is up to 58,000 in the UK, whereas in the 2000s, we were looking at mere couple thousands? The reason is because we have been taught as a society that It is okay to express your emotions. And one emotion is lust. One emotion is to relieve yourself. And by expressing that emotion, you want to relieve yourself. Now, many will go towards pornography and go, oh, well, I just watch porn at home. It's not hurting anyone. It is hurting someone. It's hurting you. It's hurting your soul. It's hurting your future kids. It's hurting your future wife. This is the most damaging thing. It is hurting you in the future. You may not realize it, but every time you do it, every time you fall into this pleasure, it is damaging you and you are hurting your future self. You can't sit there and pray for a future wife. You can't sit there and pray for a future husband when you continuously fall into the same thing and you do not want to change and you think that it's perfectly okay to do so. That it's perfectly fine and that you'll have no consequences. My question is this for men that watch it. If you have a significant other, would you allow your significant other to have sex with other men? 99% of men would say no. They would say, no, it's a terrible thing. I'd break up with her if I ever caught her cheating. So then why is it that you do it with pornography, even though it's not physically there? In the same way, if I would ask someone, would you be upset if your wife had a crush on a superstar or an actor? Many men would say yes. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Why? Her crush should be on me, not some imaginary guy. Then why is it that you're doing the same thing? Why is it that you're looking at pornography and going, yes, that's something that I'm going to do? Terrible thing. Anyway, I hope that clears things up. I could talk about this for ages. I most likely will in multiple videos. The truth is, you must flee from it, and every time you get temptations, you must pray. Don't act. Don't try and just look. Don't think, oh, well, I'm just going to have a quick look, because it always leads to the same outcome. For example, if you play with a loaded gun and you spin it around on your finger, eventually your finger's going to slip, pull the trigger, and it shoots. Will it shoot at you? Maybe not. Could it? Yes. This is the truth. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of 2-part video thing. I'm going to somehow try to combine them both together. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I will. And yeah, I'll continuously go from there. Have a fantastic Saturday. I most likely will make this into part 2 or part 3. Maybe on the dangers of pornography rather than how to overcome it. Because addiction is, you just have to go cold turkey. It's just the honest truth. You have to keep yourself and understand that you must have self-control. But anyway, I think the next video will most likely be on the dangers of it, to go into like the proper detail, who runs it, who does it, why it exists. I think that's very, very important. Once you begin to realize the disgusting nature of it, you want to do it less and less. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend, guys. God bless you all, and I shall see you all next week.